r/AskReddit. Parents of Reddit, what is your best why is my kid so stupid moment? My daughter insists wearing a jacket will make her cold because she only wears it when she is cold. Can't refute that logic. No, she's got a point. My toddler watched at least an hour of an animated movie populated entirely by talking animals. Suddenly, a giraffe came on screen and said something. My kid stood up, pointed at the TV, and angrily yelled, "What? Giraffes can't talk." My son, who was 8 at the time and an only child, carved his very long name into the toilet seat, then claimed he didn't do it. Lol. When I learned to write my initials, I promptly carved them into the top of our TV. When my parents found it and asked me about it, I told them I didn't do it, and they asked me who did. Maybe, brother, did it. Your 2-month-old brother? I'm amazed at how many times I've had to say don't lick that. I don't have kids, but my nephews were over visiting for Thanksgiving. The youngest was 2.5. We have pet chinchillas and we showed him that if he offered the chinchillas an apple would stick, the chinchilla would take it from him and start gnawing on it. Well, obviously, this was great fun, so he started giving the chinchillas dozens of sticks, which I'm sure they loved him for. No harm no foul, by the way. It's not like it's unhealthy for them. It was just getting excessive. At some point his grandpa said enough, and teasingly, for every stick you give them, you have to eat one too. Guess who took several nibbles of a stick before anyone could stop him? My 4-year-old son just the other day spilled his water bottle on the floor. I told him to get paper towels to wipe it up. He does. Then I told him to throw the towels in the trash. He wrings them back out onto the floor before he throws them in the trash facepan. When my brother was around 6, he decided he wanted to play Tarzan with a cord hanging in his room. However, the cord kept slipping from his hand, so he decided to swing with it around his neck instead. My poor grandmother walked into the room to find her grandchild apparently trying to hang himself. One night, my brother had a dream. He was being chased by a bear through the woods. No matter how fast he ran, the bear continued to gain on him. At last, he came to a cliff. He had 2 options: throw himself from the cliff onto the rocks below, or be mauled by the bear. He chose the cliff. But wait. Just as he was about to jump, he noticed a vine hanging in midair, just a few feet away from the cliff. He leapt for it, just barely escaping the jaws of the hungry grizzly. That was when he woke up. I should mention that my brother and I shared a bunk bed, and he had the top bunk. The cliff was the edge of his bed. The vine was the pull chain of our ceiling fan. He had about half of a second to realize what an idiot he was before crashing to the ground with the broken pull chain in hand. My son, at age 10, I was trying to figure out why my shower was draining so slowly and wound up pulling the drain strainer out. Inside I found a bunch of brown paper goop. It took me a while to figure out what it was. I went to my son and asked him, "Did you tear up a toilet paper tube into little pieces and cram those pieces down the drain in the shower?" "Yes." "Okay. Brain fries**. How about not?" "Sure." When I was a kid, my little brother woke up and thought he saw Frankenstein walking down our hallway in the middle of the night. He took off running in his underwear, out the door, down the block, several blocks really. A couple picked him up maybe 4 blocks away and brought him home. He was on his way to my grandmother's trailer a good half mile away. Kicker was, the Frankenstein he saw was my grandmother, who was staying with us that night. Took a while to live that one down. Our daughter, when asked what she wanted to be when she grows up, answered, "I want to be a strawberry, but if that's too hard, I want to be purple. The color purple, the fruit strawberry." She was 5. When I was 11, we were at a park that had one of those swirly slides that is kind of like a tunnel. Well, I wanted to act like a mountain climber and tie a rope around myself and jump down the slide to climb back up. What was the best spot to tie the rope? I asked myself. The neck. Good location to easily grab the rope and pull myself back up, plus convenient tying spot. My parents ran to me yelling and stopped me mid-knot, tying a rope around my neck to jump down a slide. In retrospect, I'm a dumbass. When my sister was 18, she was planning a trip to California after HS graduation. She spent several days calling banks to get the exchange rate for money because somehow she was absolutely convinced that regular US currency in Pennsylvania was not usable in California. She thought the banks were all lying to her that it was the same money. I'm surprised she even found California. If I can be the kid who made my parents ask this question, I walked into a wall when I was 5 because I was walking around looking through binoculars backwards. Got these 2 massive ring bruises around my eyes. My older brother carved my name into the side of my mum's car with a rock for whatever reason and tried to blame it on me. I was like 4 years old and couldn't write yet. When I caught him peeing in the doorway of his room at the age of 5. His reason? Cause I don't want the kitty coming into my room. Smart, gotta mark your territory. When my daughter was around 5 years old, I told her to start putting her toys away. She told me she couldn't because she didn't have any hands while showing me her hands. When a sudden rainstorm hit our campsite, my 11-year-old rescued a full water bucket from the rain and put it under the canopy to keep it dry. Me waking into the bathroom to check on my 4-year-old son having a bath. Why are you smashing your penis with that toy hammer? When I heard my wife say to my then 3-year-old son, name, please stop sniffing all the cars. We were walking through a parking lot. My nieces, I don't have kids. Me and the older niece, 7, are playing Minecraft while the younger niece, 5, watches. We build a small little town, and I build the younger niece a little house in the town for her to play in, then give her the controller. We are all sitting on my couch. The younger niece immediately places TNT all over the town and sets one off. Me and the older niece sit there and watch as the whole town explodes. This makes older niece sad and bummed out to where she almost cries, but didn't. I told younger niece that she is in trouble and she made her sister sad and to go to her room for like 5 minutes. I became just the uncle lol. After like 5 minutes of hearing me and older niece laughing and playing Minecraft together, she comes out of her room and asks if she can come back in and watch/play. I told her, you can play, but only after you apologize to your sister. Younger niece runs out of the room screaming, crying, not sure why. Again, I'm just the uncle. Another 5 minutes go by, younger niece comes back into the room after hearing us still laughing and playing, and, again, asks if she can watch/play, to which I respond the same thing. Apologize to your sister and the controller is yours. She looks at me dead in the face. I can't apologize. I can only speak Spanish. I said, what? I can't apologize. I can only speak Spanish. Well then apologize in Spanish. I'm sorry. Okay, here's the controller. My son has microwaved ramen noodles with no water a few times. Just so you know, they are flammable and smoke horribly and turn your microwave an awful yellow color. My youngest, around the age of 3, lost having curtains in his room after the second time he bent the hook that the curtain rod hangs onto because he tried swinging on his curtains. It turns out that the tiny piece of metal that's designed to hold the weight of a curtain rod is not designed to support a child. Several years later we'd moved to a new house and decided he was certainly old enough to stop swinging on curtains. We made sure to sit down with him to explain that when he was little, he would swing on them and that it broke the curtain rods. Now that he was around 6 or 7, he was old enough to remember not to climb the curtains. He lost the curtains the next day after he tried swinging on them. Perhaps he thought we were lying to him? Okay, but that could happen to anyone. And 6 or 7, that's still pretty young. When he was 10, he grabbed the wooden towel bar in the bathroom and fell backwards, and then kept falling Because the small wooden rod was only attached to the rest of the towel bar via a small piece of wood that was glued to the main structure and, once again, was meant to support the weight of a wet towel or two, not a 10-year-old child. Damn near gave himself a concussion on the side of the bathtub that time. Wow, you made it to the end. Thank you for watching, mate. Smash that like button and subscribe for more daily content.